Fake news can spread quickly on social media. We saw how damaging misinformation can be in the lead up to the 2016 presidential election. Back then, many social media giants, they didn't do enough to stop it. But 4 years later, we're seeing a really big change. Twitter is banning thousands of conspiracy theory accounts. 10 Tampa Bay's Candace Aviles asked, why now?
Social media companies are really in a tight spot here. In some ways, it's of their own making because they promised when they started that there were going to be a place for this free expression of all kinds of ideas.
A tight spot after social media giant Twitter starts to set boundaries for what can be posted on its site. A few weeks ago, they started labeling tweets, including President Trump's, for misinformation. And now banning 7,000 QAnon conspiracy theory accounts. But why now? One reason?
Now, these are publicly traded companies, and so in some ways they're also under pressure from shareholders, and they're under pressure from advertisers, as we've seen with Facebook, for example, where advertisers are increasingly trying to put pressure on them to say, look, you need to do something about restricting hate speech.
But after companies stood silent during the flood of misinformation during the 2016 election, many users are asking, are these social networks allowed to control content? The short answer, yes.
The Constitution is about the government's contract with you, that the government won't restrict your speech within limits. But it doesn't restrict a private company from putting restrictions on what you post and what you say.
Al Tompkins, senior faculty at Poynter Institute, says social media companies will be criticized no matter what they do, but have a right to do whatever they want. Twitter wrote, "We've been clear that we will take a strong enforcement on behavior that has the potential to lead to offline harm," leading them to block QAnon accounts moving forward. But as social media norms change and boundaries are drawn, Tompkins says a new question is emerging, and the answer might not be as clear.
If you're going to place restrictions, are you being fair about those restrictions? Are you restricting all points of view sort of equally?
So far, Twitter is taking the lead in establishing clear content boundaries. Over the past few weeks, Facebook has actually received pressure from advertisers and civil rights groups to do the same, labeling or taking down dangerous, false, hateful content. But they haven't, prompting advertisers to pull billions of dollars from Facebook so far.